Average MTG player, back at it again with another vid. So today what we're doing is showcasing all of my decks. I have 12 standard legal decks, each of them of the colors of the guilds. I don't have any 3-color decks. So for each of them I have one, except Demir and Boros, which I have 2 different versions of them. And most of these are just the modified. They're modified of the decks the introductory decks that you get along the way. But the 2 of the other ones I made myself without like using a pre-built deck as a guideline. And I also have my Popper Singleton. So comment down below which of the decks except these 2 would you like me to use in a vid. Like just play free play, or maybe even a constructed event. I'm probably gonna try a constructed. So next time we'll do a constructed event, and then in the comments tell me which deck would you like me to use. So first we're gonna start off with Artificer Attack. This is going in weird order because that's how it is, right? So I am running for my 1-drops Gearsmith Prodigy. No artifacts, so that's good. Johnny's Welcome. In every white deck I almost run this card. I think in every white deck I have this card. Even in this one, even though it's not like life gain, non-life gain centric decks, I still run this. I filter good value engine for your creatures. It just turns your creatures into extra value. Whatever else they have. I play 3 copies of Seal Away. It's a good removal, better than Take Vengeance. Take Vengeance is not very good, I'd say. Take Vengeance is just... because Take Vengeance, you're still gonna take a hit. Yeah, you'll be able to kill it, but then... yeah, because Murder is instant speed. And other removal spells, like let's say they play a threat, you pass, and then you use your removal spell, so it doesn't get to do anything to you. So Take Vengeance can't. But Steal Away, it exiles it. Now, the only, I guess, argument to be made, and you don't take the hit because that's Flash. The only argument, I guess, to be made is that because this is an enchantment, they have removal. But very rarely I ever see that. Rarely. Or if they have something that's a destroy permanent, like a Meteor Golem. Other than that, Take Vengeance is just strictly worse than this. Then Disperse, sweet, is returning things like a creature if it's like built up like a Johnny's Pridemate. A Johnny's Pridemate, if you use a Johnny's Pridemate like with 10 counters, you just use this. And it also compounds things like if a Planeswalker is about to ultimate, you can use this, set it back to your hand, and even save some of your permanents if you need to. Then we have Aviation Pioneer. It's a pretty good way to enable Gearsmith Prodigy. It makes 2 bodies. I like cards like this that come in and make tokens, because I feel spreading out your board and going wide is just way better than having a big dumb dork. I feel it's way better. Sorry guys, this is okay. Yeah, feels way better. So yeah, going wide is way better than just having big. It's like 1 big creature or 2. Sky Scanner, I love this card. Here it's only a 1/1, but the draw card is just really sweet. Great value, and just that 1 damage sometimes just does add up. We have Aether Shield Artificer, a really good card for your on artifacts. Like later Gearsmith, make it a 7/7 if you have your Prodigy or like an Aviation Pioneer or some other card. You turn to a 7/7, or it could be a 5/7, whatever, it's still good. And that Indestructible is really sweet. It just makes your Well, yeah, indestructible is great. There's no way they can kill it unless they use something like an exile or a thing that gets negative. Because those are the only ways to bypass indestructible. Which is why I think I prefer indestructible over hexproof. Because board wipes are more common than negative counters and exile effects, especially in standard. No, I don't think. Well, you can see there's Scholar of Scars. Sure, if you don't have the condition, it's just a 4-mana 3/2. But if you do, it's pretty good. Draw a card. Again, card advantage is everything. What? 61? What do you mean? Yeah, let's go to Smith, I guess. Okay. So yeah, card advantage, pretty good. Aerial Engineer. This is a good card. Because this card is just a 4/4 flyer most of the time. You play your Aviation Pioneer turn 3, you play this turn 4, bam. If you get 5 hits on them, they're dead. Right? Yeah, 5 hits. Then we have Hieromancer's Cage. Pretty good card. It's another exile effect. But can be any permanent that's non-land. Non-land permanent. So you can get rid of Planeswalkers, you can get rid of so many other stuff. Anything that is just really good. Then we have Gearsmith Guardian. Essential combo of Gearsmith Prodigy is it gets +2/+1 as long as you control a blue creature. So it turns into a 5/5. Which is sweet. And I mean, some people say it's not worth running because it just becomes the standard rate. 2 manas, 2/2s, or 2/1s. But I say Gearsmith Prodigy is better because, it becomes a 2/2 for 1. But right in here, my deck, it takes more setup because it's until turn 3 is where all the artifacts are. These are only 2 artifacts, or 3. This generates some. But I feel that's enough. And then last card, the big boy, it's Azor the Lawbringer. This card is sweet. So when it enters the battlefield, each opponent can cast instant search during that player's next turn. Really annoying control. And whenever it attacks, you can pay that much. You gain X life and draw X cards. So it becomes this Sphinx Revelation, essentially. Yeah, it becomes Sphinx's Revelation. So, sweet. And yeah, just a flyer. I mean, there are some other cards you can make argue, like more 1 with the machines, maybe. But, and some other stuff you could argue for, but I feel this is a pretty good game. Next, we have Eternal Thirst. Here is a life-gaining deck, obviously. So we have Leonin Vanguard. The main reason I run this card is just the text box. Whenever you control 3 or more creatures, it gets +1/+1, so end of turn you gain a life on your combat phase. So each combat you're gaining a life if you have 3 creatures, but most of the time you are going to have that much because we run a pretty good creature package. Then I have Vampire Neonate, a really good drain card. Again, works really well in the deck. Of course, one of my favorite cards, the Johnny's Welcome. I said in every white deck, it's there. Because it combos with the Pride Mate, the main boy of the deck. He's my real key piece synergy, but I do have one other. You'll see later. So what this does is just whenever you gain life, you put a count. So it doesn't care about the quantity. Yeah. it's not about like, so if you gain 2 life, you only get 1 counter, but still. You get Vanguard, you gain 1 life. You just keep playing counters. Neonate, before you attack, you drain. Get more power. Then we have Bishop Soldier. 2/2 lifelinker. Pretty good. Daybreak Chaplain. That's a champion, but it's Chaplain. No, I don't want to cut that. No. So I kind of actually prefer that because it's more defensive. No, not that. Where is you? No. There you go. Like, it's more defensive, has more toughness. So then we have Skarmarch Bloodletter. Whenever it enters the battlefield, target opponent loses a life and you gain a life. So that's really good. With that life gain, pretty sweet. You know, just doing stuff for Johnny. Murder, because removal. You always need every deck you want removal. Because your opponents, you may have big bombs, but guess what? Your opponent's also going to have big bombs. So you want to have answers for them. We have Dwarven Priest. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you gain a life for each creature you control. 4 mana, 2/4. So if you have, and it counts itself. So whenever you play, let's say you have 2 creatures, you play this, it counts as 3. Yes, I've checked it. I've done the math. That's how it works. So if you have 5 creatures right now, you play this, you gain 6 life. It's really big. Then we have Leonin War Leader, a really also good card. Whenever attacks, create 2 white cat creature tokens with lifelink, main part, are tapped and attacking. Most of the time, you don't care what happens with your War Leader, as long as you be able to gain the 2 life and get 2 counters on a Johnny, because they're separate creatures, so they count separately for a Johnny's total. When I say Johnny, I'm referring to the Pride Main. I used to run the Planeswalker, but no more. Yeah, in both this one and the other one, I used to run the Planeswalker, but now I don't. And all my other white decks, I run the Planeswalker from core set. Then we have Call to the Feast. Whenever, well, no, it's not whenever. It just creates 3 1/1s, lifelinkers. Really sweet. Yeah, just create 3 1/1s with lifelink, main part. Just keep. They're good chump blockers, and they're good to attack. Then another payoff card is the Epicure of Blood. Whenever you gain a life, each opponent will lose a life. So that's really sweet. So, sweet card. You gain life every time you play creatures. So, well, no, whenever you gain a life. I mean, well, actually, if you have a Johnny's Welcome, yeah, whenever you play creatures. So all your cards, except Murder, synergize with a Johnny and this card. They each gain you life. Then we have Vampire Sovereign. Whenever it enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. So yeah, you drain your opponent, you gain 3, they lose 3. And if you have this, they lose 4. So yeah, sweep. Make a big Primate to keep swinging, or just have it as a big defense. Sometimes what you want to do is just have your Johnny as a big fence wall, and then just keep trying to drain with Epicure or Epicure, and then just keep doing that. All right, next we have Auras of Majesty. Ew, I don't want enchant for this, but I should play. What? Because if I do that, then it's gonna lose to the front. I'm feeling organized right now. Actually, first we need to go back and go get my enchanter. Alright. So our only one drop is Novice Knight. But it's the best one drop for your deck. It's a 2/3 defender, so the stats is really good. And then whenever you equip it with something or enchant it, in this deck we're only running enchantments. And then it attacks. Yeah. So whenever you enchant it with something, and now it doesn't have defender. So if you use something like Knight's Pledge, I just said take pledges is bad. I guess I was good. I need to put in. Get that trashy duty can. Get that duty trash can out. I want this. Take vending. No, I don't. I just said that and I somehow haven't. I don't know. Next we can play Daybreak Chaplain again because I feel if you just put a lot of auras on it, it just can gain you so much life that makes it impossible for your opponent to take you out. Then we have Knight's Pledge. Gives it +2/+2, so your Novice Knight becomes a 4/5 on turn 2. And if they didn't play anything and you went first, and you didn't play anything on 1, you get to deal 4 damage to them. Seal away. I said it last time, it's BP. Rejuvenator, because land drops are important. Y'all know that you need land to play Magic, so that's why it's here. Then the main boy is Sanctuary Enchantress. I only have 2 payoffs in this deck, but I think this is definitely better. Just draw a card. If you keep the flow going, you can topple enchantments on enchantments. Luminous Bonds. Now it doesn't work for Novice Knight. Actually, I guess Novice Knight's also a payoff, or the other payoff card. Because the other payoff, you need to enchant it with something. But this is just good. You play this on something, you draw a card. Unconform, just like Knight's Pledge, except in green, but +2/+3 because it costs 3 mana. So turn 3, you make your Novice Knight. If you didn't play Knight's Pledge, turn 2, a 5/6. So the other is Druid of the Horns. So it says whenever you cast an aura spell that targets Druid of the Horns, you create a 3/3 beast creature token. Really good because it's really good. It creates a token when you put an aura on it, so you can put Oaken Form, something else. You have Pyromancer's Cage. I said before, pretty sweet removal. Like I said, I bring a Johnny in every single other white deck. So here he is, a Johnny, Adversary of Tyrants. He's a good boy. You put counters on creatures. You can return something back if it's already been stored. So Novice Knight, put it back. Daybreak Chaplain, put it back. And also the emblem is just so good. That emblem, bro, these make cats. And you can keep putting them because they have lifelink, life gaining, and it's really good. Then we have a Johnny's Last Stand. So it's an enchantment. And then whenever a creature or planeswalker you control dies, you sacrifice it, make a 4/4, or whenever something causes you to discard it. If I control a planes, I make the 4/4. Yeah, they said if you control planes, just to make sure you can't run this in any non-white deck. That's what they did. And the land base, I didn't show the land base, but who cares about the land? Next up, we have the plank. I don't run the demon. Bezelmon, yeah, Bezelmon. So I run Siren Stormtamer, really good control-y card that stops your opponent from getting rid of your big threats and instead essentially redirects it to your Stormtamer. Grasping Scoundrel it's just a good aggressive card. It hits for 2, 1 in attacks, but it's just a 1/1. Departed Deckhand. It's probably my favorite card in the deck. I really love this, especially with the name of the deck is Walk the Plank. So yeah, the part deck had to walk the plank, but came back. So yeah, whenever it becomes the target of a spell, you have to sacrifice it. So it does make it more vulnerable than any other creature. Like they can use like a pump spell or like a fungal infection. But the thing about it is like if they use fungal infection, they don't get their Saproling. So yeah, the main thing is that this is essentially unblockable unless they're playing spirits. But I don't see a lot because I don't think in standard there are enough here. I think for modern, yeah, but not here. And then for four, it gives a part of deckhand's ability of unblockability to another creature. Best thing is you don't have to tap it, so you can just that. Let me play Kitesail Corsair. It's really good. It's kind of like Grasping Charge where it has a claws when it's attacking. When it attacks, it has flying. So 2/1. For when you attack, it's a 2/1 flyer, so it makes it. Because most of the time, it doesn't matter because most of the time you attack. Then we have Kitesail Freebooter. So this just duresses a card essentially from your opponent, but the only thing is it's on the body, and if the Kitesail Freebooter dies or it leaves play, it comes back to your hand. The card, they get their card back. So then we have Disperse, which returns a target non-land permanent. You already went over this. Good control. Even Wind Mage. I do have a little bit of Instance and Sorcery Steam. With Even Wind Mage and Leapfrog. So Even Wind Mage does whenever you cast Instance Sorcery, it gets +1/+1. So you can make it bigger. And then Leapfrog 3/1. It's flying. So yeah. It's flying whenever you cast Instance Sorcery this turn. So you can use something like a Disperse or Murder or Strangling Spores, you can see there. And then turn into a flyer so you can block. Then we have Water Knot. Pretty cool card. It taps a creature, and then it doesn't attack during your opponent's untap step. So it takes the creature out of the fight essentially. And yeah. Then we have Murder. Just murder something. You just get to murder something. That's what you do. It's simple. The name explains it. Okay. Ravenous Chupacabra. Another form of removal, which is pretty good. Then Strangling Spores, more removal. It's just removal. It's just essentially Removal City with some flyers. The only non-flyers are the Chupacabra and Ravenous. Ravenous and Chupacabra, those are two different creatures. Ravenous Chupacabra and the Grasping, and I guess technically kind of. And the part deck can, but that's its own kind of evasion. And the other Dimir deck, Surveil. Self-explanatory. It's in the title of what it does. It surveils. So our 1-drops, we have Dockbound Phantasm, a really good card. Whenever you surveil, it gets a +1 counter, and then once you get up to 5 or more power, because it has 3 counters, so it gets to 5, it now can just attack. It doesn't have Defender anymore, which is good. Dazzling Light, a great combat trick, -3, -0, and Surveil 2. We have Narcomoeba. So it's not Surveil, but it's a payoff form. So whenever it's put in your graveyard, or from your library to the graveyard, it comes into play. So whenever you see it, you dump it, and then you're gonna dump it, and then you get it. Then Whispering Snitch. Whenever you surveil for the first time each turn, gain a life and deal damage to each opponent. Imagine if this was cast a spell or instant sorcery, I would probably put it then in my life gain decks, because I have in my Call to the Feast and stuff and other things like that. but it's only for this. Sometimes I've had 2 of these, and essentially it is a life gain deck. Enhanced Surveillance. You surveil 2. Some people kind of don't like this card, I feel. What they get for their surveil is already enough, but this is just great. And also prevents you from decking, because it has the ability to shuffle your graveyard into your library. And also, if they try to destroy it, you just exile it. Get your grave back into your deck. Mission Briefing. A good card. Surveil 2, then choose an instant sorcerer in your graveyard and you can cast it. And then you exile it. So, like, if you want to counter something, you Mission Briefing, get your Sinister Sabotage. And sometimes, if you don't have anything and you're trying to dig, it can be a little risky. But if you also have Enhanced Surveillance, you get more of a chance because you get to look at 4 cards instead of 2. So another payoff, we have Darkblade Agent. I literally love this card. This is so fun. So whenever you surveil, it gets Death Touch, and then whenever it deals combat player to player, draw a card. So most of the time they don't want to block because it's Death Touch, but if they don't, you get the card advantage. It's so evil. It's like, both of the options are just so evil. Then we have Whisper Agent. That's flash, whenever it enters the battlefield, surveil 1. So it can kind of be removal-ish. Like if they attack with a 3/3. Well, anything that has 3 toughness, you flash this thing, chump. You also get a surveil. Good. We have Sinister Sabotage. Counter target spell and you surveil 1. Really like this card. There. This is just great counter spell. But I think if you're gonna compare this to Disallow is way better. Creeping Chill, another payoff. So whenever it is sent from your, I guess with the top text sorcery, it does 3 damage to each opponent, and you gain 3 life. So that's pretty good. But then if it's put from your graveyard, from your library, exile it, and then it does its effect. So if you surveil it, you can just dump it, and then you rain them. Then you have Watcher in the Mist. Whenever it enters the battlefield, surveil 2. Pretty good. No. And it's also 3/4 body. You have Deadly Visit. Store target creature, surveil 2. And the big boy is Green Meter. A 6 mana 4/3 flash flying. Already that rate's good, but then it has more attacks. Whenever you enter the battlefield, you surveil 4. You surveil 4. So if you have this with enhanced surveillance, you surveil 6. Really good. And then when you surveil off of it, you return the target non-land permanent to its own. So you get to disperse of something also. This card is just great. It's a mythic, and yeah. But I definitely say for this deck I prefer Doom Whisperer. But I didn't have enough wild cards. I had 2 of these, and I had 1 mythic wild card, and I had no Doom Whisperers, so I just bought this. But I feel it's pretty close to it, more control, but Doom Whisperers is better surveilling. Yeah, and that's the deck. Next up, Strength in Numbers. So here, like in the last one, we're in the combo with Neon Vanguard and Giants. Also, most of the time, run this card. So then we have Goblin Instigator. It comes in with a buddy, coworker. Comes in with a coworker buddy. Then Seal Away, already mentioned. Strike, deal 3 damage. The bolts of our format. Just 1 extra mana, but still pretty good. Mentor of the Meek. Pretty much for everything, this and everything here. Well, also this. Whenever it enters, you draw cards, so just get the card advantage going. You just get all that card advantage going. Then we have Militia Bugler. So whenever it's a 3-mana 2/3 vigilance, pretty good rate already. And then you look at the top 4 cards and you reveal a creature with power 2 or less from among them and put it into your hand. So essentially this sets you up for your mentor. You can, let's say on turn 4 you play this, you have an extra mana. Let's say you get a Leonin Vanguard, you can play that. I mean, you won't get the mentor trigger. So then we have Tajik, Legion's Edge, has mentor. And what it does, it prevents all non-combat damage to other creatures you control, and then also has the ability to give itself first strike. So that means your creatures are unaffected by things like fiery finish, shocks, strikes, all that stuff. Then we have Leonin War Leader again. It's a sweet card, even in the non-life game deck, it's sweet. Cage again, good removal. We have a Johnny again. Pretty good card. And Heroic Reinforcements, I really love this card. This card is sometimes, this is the most times, because of this card, this is the most time when I just win the game. This card, especially if I cast 2 of them, most of the time after that, I just win the game. You make 2 soldiers, and then until end of turn, all your creatures get +1/+1 in haste. So you can play some other creatures and then play this. All of them gain haste and +1/+1, and also the soldiers. And yeah, that's pretty good. And you know, you need land to play Magic the Gathering. And we have Boros Renegade. It's kind of similar to the other one, but with some different changes. You start running the standard because both of them synergize with Life Gain, Pridemate, the Soldier, and Daybreak. Obviously and also was on Eternal Thirst. Strike again. This time we're running Sky Knight Legionnaire. Kinda like a pretty good card. Does some stuff. Kinda feel I might take him out, but let me see if I can find a replacement. Anything that 3 slot that can do some life gaming. I think I have another wild card. Actually, I'm gonna cut it for Inspiring Cleric because it has life gain. It does life gain stuff. Why don't you get? You know what? Yeah, let's put that because I feel that's better. I did like the Legionnaire, but then we have Tajik, which can mentor your smaller life gainers here. And this. Then we have Luminous Bonds as removal. Dwarven Priest again, gain life. Hieromancer's Cage again. I always thought when Hieromancer's Cage alive. Kind of like it. And then a Johnny again. Might have less life gaining than the black one and less synergy, but still can get the job done. I feel like. Mages. So first off, we have the Gichu Lava Runner. Pretty good card, especially if you get it on like turn 3 and you've cast it instance. Get a 2/2 haste. And it's also a 1/2, so that's a pretty good rate. I feel it's a pretty good card. And then whenever you get instant sorcery, the 2/2. Yeah, it's kind of like Gearsmith, except I think Gearsmith is easier to use. It's a good condition. But this does more because it also has haste. Also, time you play to someone. And then we have the Sheevan Fire. Kicker deals 2 damage to a creature, so it's a shock for creatures. Or if you kick it, so you have to pick 5, it deals 4 damage. So you can get more bigger things. Well, then Arcanus taps, and then you spend mana to cast instant sorceries. So it makes it easier to cast instant sorceries. Disperse, again, Sure Strike, pretty good. It's a creature +3/+7 gains first strike. And we play Leapfrog. Again, I like it. Yeah, I definitely kind of prefer it over the Wind Mage. Because the Wind Mage most of the time, it just only gets the 3 out. Because I don't think there's lots of times where you cast multiple instants. And frankly, most of the time you want to spread your instants out. So every single turn you get the trigger. Then we have Enigma Drake. I wish I had the crackling one. No. This one's still good. It's 3-minute flying 04. And then whatever and its power is equal to the number of instant sources in your graveyard. So it can be a 10-4. 10. Now I play Act of Treason. So yeah, Act of Treason, you gain control of one of your opponent's creatures, and you untap it, and they give you haste. So if they tapped it for something, or if they just played it and it has summoning sickness. Then we have Sift. What it does is just you draw 3 cards, and then you send one into the bin. But with cards like your Enigma Drake and your Get Your Lava Runner, you don't really care too much about this card. And also you have a way to get them back with Devious Cover-Up. I used to run this in the Surveil, but I kinda didn't like it. So it counters a spell. Yeah, and then it gets exiled instead of putting it to the river. And then you shuffle 4 cards from your graveyard into your library. And then last, as a good finish, sleep, tap creatures, all creatures your opponents control, and they don't untap until the next turn. This card I've lost to so many times and I hate it. It's so annoying and so good. Alright, next, we have some Mayhem. We run Fungal Infection as a good way because you can get a Unicenter, and you also make a sap. Shock, removal. Arc sometimes can be a finish if you manage to get them to 2 life, and they have like a big board. You have shock and you draw shock, you win. Then we have Doom Censor. Whenever it dies, you make a 2/2. So I like comboing this, so like you sack your Doom Censor, and then you make a 2/2 and a 1/1. Reassembling Skeleton is a great blocker and also a great fodder for all of your discard outlets. Sack outlets, not discard outlets. Just because you can keep reassembling it. Macabre Waltz. So what it does is return you 2 creatures from your graveyard into your hand, and then you discard a card. So you can return. So let's say all you have left is a land, and you have your opponent remove some of your things like your ogre and your harpy. You can get them back, send that land away, or you can even cash out something like a reassembling skeleton. You can put it back. I mean, sometimes you might want something like a tormenting voice, but I kind of feel because of all the removal, kind of want this. I mean, I'd say either run this or tormenting voice. Either one of these. Then we have Deathbloom Ballad. Whenever it dies, create a Saproling. So it's not like Doom Center where it makes a bigger body, but it still makes a body, so that's good. It leaves something behind after it dies. Then we have the Heartbeat. So it's a 1/2 flying for 3. Doesn't seem too good. But what it does is you sacrifice another creature and you put a counter on your Heartbeat. So you can sack your Doom Center, or you can keep sacking your reassembling skeletons, keep getting more and more value. Murder, because Act of Treason, this is such a cool combo. What you do is you use this with either the Harpy or Brawlbash Ogre. You can either sacrifice it with this, or you sacrifice the creature you gain with this. There's like a combo. You know, when Kaladesh was out, when Kaladesh and Elmakip were out, when I used the Welcome deck, there's Flame and also another card I forgot that gain control of the creature. So yeah, what we do is you take the creature, and then on the second main, you fling it. Or you can use Stud. Yeah. So yeah, you can use active treason, or if you're using a black deck, kind of like the sacrificing, you can use stud or fling. Well, actually not stud because fling is not here. We can also do like that. Gravedigger, just to get rid of any of the creatures that you sacrificed. You can get your Doomed Centers back to reuse them again. Brawlbash Ogre is a 4-mana 3/3 menace. Super good rate already. And then whenever it attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, it gets +2/+2. So you make a 5/5 menace. Then, for some of your other cards, you have Blood Divination. So you can sack your Deathloom, you can sacrifice your Skeletons up the back, Doom the Center to turn into a 2/2. And when you do that, you draw 3 cards. I kind of don't like Blood Div. I feel what they should have done was they should have made it cost 1 less. Because you also have to sacrifice a creature. It's a little whack. Because Divination is 3 mana, draws 2 cards. But Blood Divination costs 4 mana, draws 3 cards, but you have to sacrifice a creature. Really? Yeah, because in blue they have a card like that. And in green they have Harmonize for 4 mana. You don't have to sacrifice anything, you draw 3 cards. I'm kind of annoyed. I feel they should have, they could have kept that, but they should have either made it instant speed, maybe also instant speed could have also worked. If this card, like you tap your Doom Center, you Blood Div, put it back as a 2/2 to block. Yeah, either that or made it cost 1 less. One of those 2 things they could have done to make Blood Div better, but because I feel that's a little bit of like really. Next we have Jungle Secrets. So here we have 3 Jade Bears. Whenever it's the battlefield, put +1 counter on another merfolk. Now, the only thing is, playing this on turn 1, you don't want to do it. Don't ever, I'm telling you, don't ever play Jade Bear on turn 1. Just don't. It's not good. I don't care if they're like a really aggressive deck and you want to get blockers. No, just don't. Trust me. Alright, then we have Kumina Speaker. And when it gets +1 as long as you control another merfolk or island. So next turn you can play Forest, Island, turn into a 2/2. Then we have River Sneak. Can't be blocked, and then I love this card. So it's a 1/1 unblockable for 2, already great. And then whenever another merfolk enters the battlefield, you put it gets +1/+1 till end of turn. So if you play 2 merfolk, it's a 3/3 unblockable for that turn. We have Silver Gill Adept. I kind of don't like this, but I guess like on turn 3, if you have this and you also have Jade Bear or some other merfolk you're gonna play, you just do that. And if you have no other merfolk in hand, you have to pay 5, and the rate's not even good. You have to pay 5 mana, and it's just a 2/1 that lets you draw a card for 3 mana. It's so bad. Maybe if it was 1 less, maybe then I might accept it. Because it has flexibility. But 3, I feel, no. 2 would have been better. I feel 2 would have been fine. But they had made it 3. Now we have Merfolk Mistbinder. Gives all your Merfolk +1/+1. Pretty sweet. We have Disperse again. I love Disperse. Disperse is so good. We have Rabid Bite, which target creature you control deals damage to another creature. It's fight, but except their creature doesn't get to deal damage to your creature, which is just way better. Then we have River Herald's Boon. It puts a +1 counter on target creature and +1 on target merfolk. So you can put it on the same creature because all the creatures in here are merfolk. So then we have Water Trap Weaver. When it enters the battlefield, you tap a creature an opponent controls, and it doesn't untap during that controller's untap step. So you use Water Knot a creature for a turn. Speaking of Water Knot, let's talk about it now. Water Knot. taps a creature, doesn't untap, and just essentially makes it nothing. I mean, I guess they can sack it or tap it for something. But then we have the best card probably in the deck, I'd say. Except Sleep. Sleep is really good. Kumina, Tyrant of Araska. So, this card is just a super good value for your Merfolk. 3 mana 2/4. The rate's pretty good. So you tap another creature, another untapped Merfolk, and you make Kumina unblockable. So you tap another Merfolk, it's unblockable now. You tap 3, untap Merfolk you control, draw a card, say your opponent's scared to attack its other creatures, and step, you draw cards. Then you tap 5 untap Merfolk, and you put +1 counters on each single Merfolk you control. Again, you have 5 untap Merfolk, like Kumina and 4 other Merfolk, tap all of them, each of them get counters. Then we have Sleep. Now some people probably would prefer Tempest Color because it's also a Merfolk. It does a 4 mana, I think 3/3, I think, and then let me look it up. Tempest Color. No, it's a 2/3. Okay, well, it ends the battle, taps all creatures your opponent controls. But I feel Sleep is good. Sleep is good. It taps them, and it also leaves them untapped for a turn. So, if you need 2 turns to kill them, you got it. I mean, yeah, they can play more features, but still. So that was this. Next up, we have Swarm. So only 1 drop, fungal infection, kill your opponent's creature, or we also are running Doom Dissenter. So it's not a complete saproling build, but most of it is. You have Severed Strands, you sacrifice a creature, you gain life equal to your creature's toughness, and then you destroy a creature your opponent controls. A Vicious Offering. It kind of does the same thing as Severed, but I kind of like Severed better. I mean, the only thing is that sometimes if you don't want to sack a creature, just kill a small thing. This works, so both of them serve purpose. And this is also instant speed. Then we have the Migration. I kind of don't like kicking it because you pay 6 mana, but you only get 4 tokens. So you're not breaking even. But when you pay 2 mana, you get 2 tokens, so you are. But I guess that's the cost for being flexible. We have Deathbloom Thallid. When it dies, you make a 1/1 sap. Again, pretty good. You have me Shaftfired. Whenever it enters ETBs, you make a 1/1 sap. Slimefoot the Stowaway, the main big boy. Well, so whenever a sapling dies, you gain a life and your opponent loses a life. And you can pay 4 to generate a sapling, and you don't have to tap Slimefoot, so you can keep doing it. Then Chupacabra, because it's removal, essentially. You need removal more. Now we have the Archer again. No, I haven't run this deck because it's Golari, so no other deck can run it. It just, whenever it dies, each opponent loses a life. Well, no, whenever a creature dies. So it's Slimefoot, except that Slimefoot's as its ability, because it also gives you a life. But this one is less specific because Slimefoot only lets saplings. This one says any creature. So then we have Find and Finality. Finality is such a good board wipe. I'm telling y'all, it's such a good board wipe. Alright, so but Find is also really good because it returns 2 creatures from the graveyard to your hand, so you can get back if your Poison or Slimefoot was removed. If you want to reuse a Thallid or Doom Dissenter, or if you want to reuse a Chupacabra. Yeah, Finality, if you put 2 +1 counters on a creature you control, then every single creature on the board gets -4, -4. So most of the time it's going to kill all creatures. So that's great. But so you get to save 1 creature and destroy everything. And then Azoni, Thousand Eyed. I don't think I've ever really used this yet. So whenever ETBs, you get 1 black and green, 1/1 insect for each creature in the game. And then you sacrifice a creature and you gain a life and draw. So let's say if you have another Azoni in your hand, you can keep sacrificing creatures, and then you play your other Azoni, send that Azoni into the graveyard, and then let's say you spine to get your Azoni back, you can just keep cycling through your Azoni if you have find. And that would be pretty good, but I've never really done it. Alright. Next, ramp. Yeah, it's just simple. It's just ramp. This is just a ramp deck. We have Goblin Torch Carrier. Well, not Goblin Torch Carrier. It's just a Torch Carrier. Not a Goblin. Because it's not, he's a Goblin, but it doesn't say it in the stats. Okay, he's a 1/1 haste. And then you sacrifice it, another creature gains haste until end of turn. So you can save this for when a really big bad boy comes in, but can't do anything yet. Torch Carrier can make him do something. Then we have Llanowar Elves, 1/1, which is just a dork. Taps for green mana. We have the cow, just like the elf, but has 2 extra toughness than the elf, and costs 1 more. Does the same thing, makes it green. Rapid Bite again for when your big boys come in, you can kill your opponent's big boys. We got Barbar Brute, 3 mana, 3/2 Menace. This is a really good card. It's a 3 mana, 3/2 Menace. That's great. They can put 2 1/1 in front, but then you 2 for 1 them. So, Rejuvenator, ramp. Because this deck is just ramp, you need ramp. Draconic Disciple, really good, just keep ramping up into ramp, and then hopefully get to that second ability to sacrifice it to make it a 5/5. And then use Torch Carrier, make it hasty. Then we have Bristling Boar, 4 mana, 4/3, can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. So essentially, your opponent can't double block. You know what's interesting? If you use a combination of something like this, can't be blocked by more than 1 creature, and Menace, then that makes your creature essentially unblockable. Yeah. Because if they put 1 blocker in front of it, Menace makes... But if you put 2 blockers in front of it, it doesn't work because it says it can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. So it just essentially makes it unblockable because it keeps looping. Then we have... No, I don't want to cut that. Well, Beast Whisperer, it's a 4 mana, 2 green, 2 generic, 2/3, and then whenever you cast a creature, you draw a card. Not ETB, so not when a token enters, just when you cast. So it's a little bit worse, but still pretty good. And we have Charging Monstrosasaur, Rar. It's a 5 mana, 5/5 trample haste. Because that's such a sweet. That's just such a sweet rate. 5 mana, 5/5 trample haste. Sometimes that can just be a removal spell. You put a 1/1, a 2/2. Put 2/2s in a 1/1. You 1 for 3 them. You 3 for 1 them. And Sparkstone Dragon. I think the most expensive card you want to build up to. So it's a 5 mana, 3/3 flying. Doesn't seem good, but when it enters the battlefield, you just pay 3. You can pay 3 more mana. So you can't. So if you pay up to 8, you get to deal 3 damage to any target. So sometimes this can just, if they have 3 life, you can kill a 3/3, and then it's just a 3/3 flyer, which is not terrible. Well, there it is. Should I do these? No, let's correct this. This is essentially similar to, except instead the main thing is the Epicure of Blood, because Ajani's Pride Mate is an uncommon. But here we have the Neonate, Moment of Triumph, Daybreak Plane, you're doing center. Most of these are just Deathloop Ballad, starts a new card. Hit the Scorpion, costs 1 mana, and then 2 hybrid Golgari, 2/2 Death Touch. Luminous Bonds. Oh, a new card, Star Count Stag. Whenever it attacks, tap a target creature defending player controls. Strangling Spores, you've already seen, and I'm sure you've already seen. And then for Singleton, get that garbage out of here. I'll put in Greatness. And I'll leave Galta. No, Galta! Galta! I kind of do like Singleton and Commander because even if you only have one of a card, so yeah, that's just really good. I love Galta. I really wish I had an IRL for my Commander, the Chef. I have two other the white and red one, and I have Zakama, but I don't have Galta because I think it's the most expensive of all of them. But I think Zakama might be more. So yeah, let me just go through anywhere else. Welcome, Blazing Hope, a different unique card. Whenever exile creature with power greater than or equal to your life total. So if they have a creature that they're just like, oh yeah, you're at 3 life, I'm only gonna swing for you by 3/3. Blaze it. The motion, the chain creature can't be blocked and its activated abilities cannot be activated. So it just hinders the creature a little bit. Tactical advantage to blocking or blocked creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You have Silverbeak Griffin, 2/2 flying. Color scene, its will gives creature +2/+2 indestructible. Seal Away, you're seen. Rabbit Bite, you're seen. Titanic Growth, instant, 2 mana. Creature gets +4/+4. Verdant Rebirth, until end of turn, target creature gains. Whenever this creature dies, return to its owner's hand, draw a card. Mentor of the Meek, you're seen. Mission Book, you're seen. Pixis Courser, whenever it attacks. Another target attacking creature gets flying until end of turn. Just a Gride, whenever it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land or a gate card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your library. Elvish Rejuvenator, you've seen it. Use Judgment, destroy creature with power 4 or greater. Bonds, you've already seen. Make stand, creature you control get +1/+0 and indestructible. Blanch with armor, enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each forest you control. Starcrown Stack, you've seen this, you've seen this. Candlelight Vigil, creature gets enchanted creature gets +3/+2 and vigilance. Call the Culprit, destroy creature with toughness 4 or greater. A Johnny, every 7 times we've seen. His Stand, you've already seen. Card Fate, 5 mana, 4/3. Whenever it attacks, you gain 2 life. I might have to look at this. I don't know how many. I don't think I have enough. That's why it's not in the deck. I think it would be. 5 Sarah Angel, 5 mana, 4/4 flying vigilance. Spiritual Guardian, 5 mana. Whenever it enters the battlefield, and you also need to check in this. Vigilant Bailoff, 5 mana, 5/5 vigilance. Gigantosaurus, 5 mana, 10/10. Confront the Assault. Cast as long as your creatures attack you. Create 3 1/1 spirits. Angelic Reward. Make creature gets +3/+3 flying. Inspiring Commander. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield, you gain a life and draw a card. So it's like Mentor, except you don't have to pay mana for it. Sarah Guardian, Flying Vigilance. Other creatures you have Vigilance. Aggressive Mammoth, 6 mana, 8/8 Trample. Other creatures you control have Trample. Prodigious Growth, creature gets +7/+7 in Trample. And Gahalta Primal Hunger. Cost X less to cast, where X is number power. And this is a 12/12 Trample. 12 mana, 12/12 Trample. Which also can sometimes just be a 2 mana, 12/12 Trample. If you have enough. What did I cut? Discord changes. That's good. So, hope you enjoyed for today. Make sure to comment which deck would you like me to see play in a constructed event here. Comment down below which one of these decks, except these, because these are not for standard format, would you like to see? Ramp, Serpent Swarm, Jungle Secrets, Kiss Mayhem, Wrath of Mages, Strike and Number, Surveil, Portal's Life Gain, or the Majesty, Artifact Attack, Eternal Thirst, or Walk the Plank. Comment down below which one you would like to see next. And that is all for today, guys. Make sure to smash that like button. Hope you enjoyed. This is Average MTG Player, out.